If you missed part 1 of this midsize test drive series, you can go down in the description and watch that first. We test drive the Tacoma, Frontier, and the Colorado. All right, now we're going to test out the Honda Ridgeline. I'm going to jump in here and see how it goes. That's a decent size compared to the Tacoma center console.
This is the most comfortable one by far.
Really?
Yeah.
Like just room?
Mm-hmm. Just room. I have a lot of room.
I think it's just the unibody design gives it more space on the interior. So this, you said it was coming in at about 44,000, I think? Okay. A little smaller screen, kind of like the Tacoma. They have really good vision out of the front, like the height of the window, obviously. He's a cop, so he's used to driving aggressively.
No, driving aggressively.
It's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Give him that. Car-like ride with a truck bed.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like how low the dash is. Like I noticed the dash is lower than a lot of the other trucks. It just gives you better vision, but you lose a little storage up there, but it is nice to have the vision. And then my seating position, even in the passenger seat's pretty good. I don't feel like my legs are as far out as the Tacoma.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think...
I like all the physical buttons here.
Mm-hmm. Those are nice.
Everything's pretty normal. I wish there were dials here instead of these toggles, but that's not that big a deal. Seems to go pretty good.
Yeah, it rides like an SUV, for sure.
Yeah. I do think there's a little more cabin space in here than the other ones.
But I'm sure having a unibody designed vehicle
helps with that.
Helps with that a ton. Because I noticed it immediately, like getting into this thing, it feels like I'm sitting in an SUV.
Right here.
Okay.
See what the steering radius is like. Nothing like the Sequoia. There's old Sequoias used to have the best steering radius of any car on the planet. I don't know why. I don't know how they did it.
Alrighty.
And now you can test out the get up and go compared to the other ones.
So it is way less punchy than even the Frontier.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, torque. But
that's pretty normal. I mean, Honda's kind of had the same 3.5 forever. And they're going, you know, it's more about reliability and predictability than it is power. So
it rides super nice. It tracks super straight.
It's like a car.
It is like a car.
Yeah, very much like a sedan ride. Feels a lot less trucky than the other trucks we drove.
I'm sure the audience will be excited to know we're going to be driving a Subaru Brat next.
Yeah, right. What, the Maverick? I don't think you'd fit in a Maverick. I think this is a lot bigger than a Maverick.
It is a lot bigger than
like you've still got a good 5 or 6 inches above your head in this car. Yeah. And your knees aren't, you know, up into the steering wheel. And so you like the ride position in this and the Frontier the best out of all of them.
Yep. And that's if I was going for like an all comfortability aspect, you know, if this is going to be like a grocery getter that you occasionally haul mulch in the back, you know. I'd probably go with a Ridgeline, you know. If you're going to do some dirt roads, that kind of stuff, towing. I don't think this would be the best choice, but I like it.
I want to get in the back and see how big that... I don't think it's going to be that big a deal for you because you don't have kids, but who knows? You might have kids. I don't know. Are you planning to have kids, Trevor? I don't know. You want to say anything? So this is with me in the back. It actually, I think it is about the same as the Tacoma. I think they're all going to be real similar. Maybe a little bit more space than the Tacoma.
I think it's
in the
got
back
more
seat.
Space than the Tacoma.
A little bit.
It's got nice physical buttons, physical dials. Visibility is really good. It doesn't have a huge cowl on the hood.
Yeah.
It feels basic, you know. It feels like a Honda. That's what I notice. It feels like a Honda. And is it fancy? Is it a Nissan Frontier Pro 4X? No. Will this thing probably live to 200,000 miles? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
You know?
Well, as long as they get past that rod bearing issue they had. Different style tailgate and then the storage. That is a lot of storage. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
You want to see if you can fit in there?
No.
I bet I could fit in there.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Look at how deep that is. I guess if you wanted to lock some stuff in there, that's pretty cool. Pretty neat.
Yeah.
So you could just still do the dirt bike thing.
Yeah, I could still put a dirt bike back here. It's got tie downs in the front for it.
It's a little bit, it's funny, the bed's like a tiny, it's a lower bed, you know, like a shorter bed.
Yeah.
This way, but then you have all that lockable storage down there. We should have popped the hood on the other ones. I think they have a little more room with the 4 cylinders, but really, if you're buying a brand new car, you're not going to be working on much for a while anyway.
But I think inherently having the body on frame designs is going to give you more room to work on the engine compared to this, where, you know, if you got to replace that alternator, you're going to be pulling radiator fans, you're going to be pulling plastic covers, you're going to be pulling a lot of stuff to get to it.
There's not a lot of space in here. But it is a shorter hood too.
Yeah, so it's significantly shorter. See, and I wish it was more of like a body on frame vehicle, but you
can't have
everything. It's still pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Everyone talks trash on it. It's not a real truck. Won't work as a truck, all those things. I don't think it has the same off-road capabilities looking at the undercarriage in comparison to any of the body-on-frame trucks that we drove today. Nissan Frontier, Tacoma, Colorado, all of those will perform better in an off-road scenario where you're actually crawling all those things. Yeah. But let's look at it from the perspective of the average truck buyer. I don't think the average truck buyer actually takes their truck anywhere besides on the street to run to Costco to get groceries.
I feel targeted.
Yeah. I'm talking about someone I know.
No.
But, you know, I think it has its applicable spot in the market, and I did like it. You had a lot of room in there, and it drove like an SUV, but you still got a bed that, you know, my big thing is I want to be able to load up dirt bikes. Oftentimes these trucks aren't going into those situations where you need that full body on frame. Some people like it. You know, I like it. My truck's a body on frame truck, but
yeah, I can see why people like the Ridgeline. It rides like a kind of like, it's shorter too. So all that space you lose under the hood where you can't work on the engine that well.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's probably easier to park, easier in parking lots. You know, there's a market that they're targeting with that.
And, you know, for the odd day once a year that these people go buy, you know, 15 bags of mulch, that thing services perfect for that. And that's what these people think about when they purchase these trucks. They're going and they're thinking, okay, can I buy a sheet of plywood and be able to take it home? And the Ridgeline is able to service all those needs.
Yeah.
So.
Well, on to Ford.
Ford.
Is that the last one?
I think so.
Oh, man. We'll see if we can find a Maverick and a Ranger. This dash is tall like the Tacoma. Small windshield. I forget, what does this thing have for a powertrain?
This has the 2.7 EcoBoost, so it's got the V6 turbo.
Oh, the 2.7? Oh, that's got to be some torque. Gonna have some serious torque. How's the seating for you at your height?
This is not bad at all in comparison to like the Tacoma or the Colorado.
You're way back,
yeah,
but it's like feels better to you for some reason.
It feels very similar to like the Nissan Frontier for me.
Dude, this has the 2.7. That's pretty ccrazy. I didn't realize it had the 2.7. Same as the base in the F-150. A lot of torque.
Yeah, a lot of torque. Yeah, for sure.
I like how it's got the kilometers there predominantly in there. This truck came from Canada, you know. The height here is definitely a little bit different. I mean, the height, it goes up really far, but the dash is actually further up.
Yeah. It definitely has better visibility than the Tacoma does.
Yeah. Just from the windshield height, I think. The engine's quieter. Ride's pretty nice. It's a smooth highway ride.
Yeah. So this is pretty similar. I drove one for work. It is one of the vehicles that I drove during a training that we did. And I liked it. I mean, and this size screen is like pretty much standard at this point, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's huge. It's like the Ram.
Yeah.
Wonder if everybody will go vertical or if they're going to. I mean, they still like all these physical buttons. I like that they're down here, so that's good.
Right. Let's test the turning radius.
Yeah. Oh, that's better than the Ridgeline for sure.
For sure.
That was really tight. That's pretty nice for a midsize. I guess it's still got that little.
I am not punching it at all, though.
Yeah,
trying to be nice to it, but
yeah, a lot of torque. Power-wise, what do you think? Is this comparable to like the Colorado?
I'd say it's in the same league as the Colorado and Tacoma, you know, but that's to be expected considering this one has the 2.7, so it's a twin turbo V6.
Yeah, that's one of their best engines. I feel like this is quieter than some of the other ones. It feels quiet in the cab.
Yeah, it does feel quiet.
Not a lot of wind noise. And the wind's kind of ripping out there right now.
I don't know, man. I'm from Wyoming. This is pretty
tame
wind. Yeah. I wouldn't even know the wind was blowing right now.
This is a breeze, right?
You didn't say something.
I like the seating position for the passenger. It's not bad.
This one is pretty nice.
I mean, I think the Ridgeline had more space, but I was moved forward for him.
Nice.
It's a cool color.
Yeah, I like it.
Bright. XLT. Definitely felt a little stripped down for the money, but I think the Pro 4X is a little bit better. But these have a little more power for sure. Dude, they ain't fitting in this.
Alrighty. Swap your keys really quick.
The Maverick.
You know what?
Dude, this is way smaller. Definitely smaller over here, but
Yeah, the cab is smaller, but up front, like I feel like I have more room up front.
It's more open, you know, you don't have the huge center console that's all the way up, all that stuff.
yeah.
And so
Lower.
this one is XLT, the all-wheel drive model. I'm assuming this is the non-hybrid one. It's just the 2.4 liter, correct?
2 liter.
2 liter, okay. What does this one come in at? Sticker price?
Sticker's 34 on this one.
34 on this one, okay.
Trevor likes them.
I do, man.
It's
Just just something to haul dirt bikes around, man. That's all I need. And so they started offering the hybrid model with all-wheel drive, right? That was like in 25?
Yes.
Okay.
2 liter is not that bad, really. I mean, and this thing's probably not super heavy, being unibody. Ride's pretty smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It's quiet, kind of like the Ranger.
Here's a turbo, though.
Yeah, you can really hear it. It's like it's one of those modded racer cars.
Yeah. Do you think those are artificially fed noises by the speakers, or what?
I don't know. I think that's the real turbo, isn't it? Because it's a whistle. They don't artificially pump.
No, that's the actual turbo.
Yeah.
Pretty loud for being a little 2 liter.
Maybe it's got that same turbo you're putting in your
My Z.
Z, the huge turbo. It's pretty quiet though. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
It rides nice.
Ride's nice. There isn't any crazy like wind noise or anything like that. You know?
You were actually considering one of these a year ago when you were looking.
I still am considering one. I like, you know, everyone's gonna
Make fun.
compare it to the Ridgeline, man. But
If you buy one, I'll mock you a little bit, but you got to buy something for what you want, what the use that you're down. Kylie would like driving it, sure.
see, and I got to think about those things, right? Like I got my Silverado, it's a big truck, whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah, you already have the off-road truck thing, so.
and that one's all the way set up to jump and climb rocks and all that stuff. So, damn it, I didn't want that stuff to fall.
Pretty good steering radius.
Yeah.
How's the 2 liter compared to the 2.7?
Definitely doesn't have as much punch,
Yeah.
but it's got plenty. You know, any modern vehicle has plenty.
And these mileage is what everybody likes in these. That's the whole reason they get them. This is all pretty basic. And then everything it doesn't have it's got some of the controls physical, like the radio and the forward back, and then weird that it has max defrost, but then to get to any of the other controls, you're in the screen. There's no physical buttons. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
I like the amount of storage that the truck has. That's what I see. You know, with it being a unibody,
Yeah.
like,
Same with the Ridgeline. It's like more storage.
I like how open the door cards are, you know?
Yeah.
But like, I try and think about practical uses of these vehicles. Like, you know, I'd probably be using it to haul snowboards to like, you know, Beaver Mountain and all that kind of stuff. Kylie would be driving it occasionally, and then I'd have dirt bikes loaded up.
Yeah. That's really it. You don't tow. You're not towing anything.
Yeah.
I guess the only question would be if you're planning on having kids, which is a no right now, right?
Yeah. You seen those files, man?
Unfortunately, everybody has. So you drove the Ranger and the Maverick.
I'm familiar with the Ranger. I drove one for work, so I like the way it drives. I like the way it feels. That one that we drove had that 2.7 liter V6 twin turbo, little brother to the 3.5 EcoBoost. So, motor has minimal issues, at least in terms of reliability comes. I like the way it drove. It was definitely quieter and smoother than both the Colorado and the Tacoma, while still maintaining that same torque-esque feel, where it's hard hitting in low RPMs. It felt nice. Driving the Maverick, I've always had a soft spot for them. I just naturally just have a soft spot for the Mavericks. I like them. I think they're very practical. They're kind of like the Ridgeline, where they have their place in the market, and there's a reason they sell like hotcakes. Do I necessarily trust the powertrain, considering it's sitting on what is essentially a Bronco Sport body, with just a truck bed? I don't know if I really trust it or not. Would I trust it long term? Probably not. Would maybe at least be acceptable for something like that? Maybe,
It'd fit your dirt bikes, but
Yep.
it just doesn't have much ground clearance for snow.
Yeah.
So out of all of them, okay, so honestly, what do you think is the most reliable one? Is like out of all the feels and the engines? Like,
We discussed this a little bit, and historically speaking, the Nissan Frontier should be and would be the most reliable. It's a naturally aspirated V6. They haven't had issues with that engine, spinning main bearings, spinning rod bearings, major engine malfunctions. You go look at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration car complaints on it, essentially, and there's some reported issues about electrical issues, but that's the most severe of it. Second place would probably come the Ridgeline. I believe those ones have the J series in them, which is just their V6 series engines. There was some problems in earlier years of them spinning rod bearings.
Yeah.
But historically, Honda's been a fairly reliable brand. They're good.
What was the most powerful one?
For sure, the Colorado.
Really?
The Colorado has kick to it.
Even more than the Ranger.
Yes.
2.7. Okay.
I would say in terms of power, if I were to rank it just based on, my seat dyno.
Yeah.
I would say number 1 would go Colorado. Number 2 would be Tacoma. Number 3 is the Ranger.
Really?
Number 4 would go to Frontier. Number 5 would go to Maverick. Number 6 would go to Ridgeline. Maybe it's the way that their torque is distributed across the RPM range. The Tacoma had really low hard hitting torque.
Yeah.
And the Ranger, it more rolled on. I hit it a little bit, nothing crazy, but that vehicle has 40 miles on it that I don't want to be pounding on it. So
and then comfort, like quality of the interior and comfort in the cab. What's your pick?
So quality of the interior. So if we're looking at overall quality, like, you can tell that the company, the engineering department of the auto manufacturer thought of this, it's going to, I think Nissan really did a good job on the quality of their interior. It was good quality,
It didn't feel cheap. Like the seat fabric didn't feel cheap.
Yep.
Everything didn't feel cheap.
Yep. I agree with that.
Cheap. What felt the cheapest on the interior to you?
Everyone is going to hate me for saying this, and I promise I'm not just trying to be biased, but Toyota felt really cheap.
It did to me too. The seats, in particular, the seat cushions and the fabric felt like super cheap.
Yep.
And I don't know, it could last longer. Like, I don't know how long it's going to last compared to the other brands. But when I felt it, I was like, holy cow, it feels like my daughter has the 25 Camry. It didn't prevent us from buying it because we thought, oh, Camry, good mileage. It was the trade-offs that we made. But I was surprised at the quality difference.
Yep. Well, that's just immediately sitting in the Tacoma. One of the biggest things that I notice is the bolstering on the seats, right?
Yeah.
I'm a pretty tall dude, and bolstering on the seats often helps keep me in the seat. And so we go ahead and we look at this Rebel right here. You see how thick that bolstering is? It's incredibly thick right here. And so you've hopped in that Tacoma, and immediately the bolster gave way to any amount of push you gave into it, because it was thin, weak foam.
Yeah.
In comparison to something like the Frontier, which I thought had a very high quality interior, it had thick foam, it had nice foam, it had good quality foam that was firm and held its place. And so I don't think it's going to have as much give, and fall apart just as easy. In terms of comfort, so if we're looking at just in, like if you're looking for the comfiest thing with a bed in it, it would go to the Ridgeline. You know, if you just want something with a bed, but you're not going to use it very often, you just want something super comfortable.
And ride quality of a sedan. It was like the Ridgeline was like sedan, up in the air sedan with a bed.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it felt.
But if we're talking about comfort at a price, you know, that Ridgeline was coming in at $44,000. The Maverick that we just drove, that is also a unibody design, came in at $35,000. And that's we went for a pretty high-end model. If you wanted something a little bit lower quality, you could find those for under $30,000 in an all-wheel drive model.
Yeah.
Brand new 2026. That comes as a close second just due to price alone. You know, it's so cheap in comparison to all these other models. And the big reason we drove the Maverick is to give it that opportunity like we did the Ridgeline, you know, at an extremely lower price point.
Yeah, and the Ridgeline was the most expensive out of all the trucks. So I wouldn't recommend it based on that.
Yep.
So it's not as capable towing. It's a unibody. I think the resale is going to be a little tougher. It's a niche market. Niche, if you like niche. But so for me, the best value for the money, from what we could tell on who was willing to deal, the best value, I think, well, for tall people, is the Frontiers first. For me, like just judging by what you've said, I would think you can get a better deal on a Frontier. They're going to be more reliable long-term if you want to keep it long-term. It had more power than the Ridgeline. You were like noticeably more torque.
Yes.
But yet they were so much cheaper, affordable. They were willing to deal.
One of the biggest things that I noticed is after their whole alleged, you know, rebates and all that stuff, they had their listed price online at $43,000 on the Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. That is a Pro 4X model. That is their top of the line model. And then we went to the Honda Ridgeline, and on that Honda Ridgeline, we go and we look at that price. We're near base model on that. Of course, it had leather seats and that kind of stuff, but we're near base model, and their advertised price is $44,000 and change. So, you know, you can get a way more advanced model with higher tier suspension, better quality interior, all those things in the Nissan. Yeah.
A little better layout on the dash.
And you sacrifice a little bit of comfort for that price and that reliability and the sturdiness of a body-on-frame vehicle.
Yeah, it's tough to, obviously, you have to pick what you want a truck for you. You know, if you're picking a mid-size truck, it's like, what do I want? Do I want a race truck? Probably going to pick the Colorado.
Yeah, it was
or
quick.
Or the 2.7 Ranger might be quicker. We just didn't push it as much because that guy was, you know, in the back seat. What do you want a truck for? Is it long-term, 10, 15-year truck? Like Frontier, hands down. Like I wouldn't pick any other truck. Wouldn't even consider another one for a 10 or 15-year truck. It would be Frontier all day, every day, either brand new or used. And then if you cycle vehicles every 3 years, I might go Chevy Colorado.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, if you want to, you know, take the risk with transmission issues, you know, it would be worth it with the Chevy Colorado. And maybe their transmission isn't that bad. I'm not out here trying to hate on Chevy. I like Chevy. I'm a Chevy guy. But I just have concerns with some of these newer vehicles.
The one thing I will say with the midsize, I actually think the midsize overall are way more reliable than what we see in the half tons. And I think if you get a midsize truck for like whatever your purpose is, you almost can't go wrong. But you should go drive them. Like back to back, like we did today. We spent all day doing this just to create a video, and you get such a better sense of, like, he sat in all these seats and he was kind of stunned at how good the Frontier was. He didn't expect the Frontier to be that good. Or the Ridgeline.
Which the Ridgeline, I can anticipate that just because it's a unibody design. You're naturally going to have more cab space. Same with the Maverick. The Ridgeline and the Ranger do surprise me in comparison to the Colorado and the Tacoma in terms of their interior space. They do way better at managing their interior space. And, you know, it just felt like with the Tacoma and the Colorado that I was just kind of packed in there like a sardine, you know? And naturally that's going to be a problem for very select people like me that are really tall. But
I didn't like it either, though. I'm only 6'1", so...
I know I talked about it throughout the video, you know, the applications that I would have for a midsize pickup truck. You know, I'm getting married here soon, and with Kylie, my fiance, I want her to be able to feel comfortable driving this vehicle. She doesn't feel comfortable driving my Silverado at all. And so that's something that I always have to take into account. In my use case situation, a half ton be a better pick for me only? Yes, I would get a half ton all day long. But they're just so much larger and they have a larger feel to them that Kylie is never going to be comfortable driving one of those. And so that's what kind of drew me towards the mid-size pickup truck market. And, you know, in comparing all of these, for my use cases, I really do think that a Frontier would fit the use case the best, you know, in terms of my height, the general size of the truck, the reliability, body on frame, so it's going to be a little bit more sturdy than the unibodies, less reliability issues associated with that engine and transmission. I want to be able to also take this same truck and not get terrible gas mileage and take it somewhere with snowboards in the back to go snowboarding. And I think that's a use case that a lot of people have is, you know, taking it to go haul smaller things that still require a bed. So the Frontier fit the best for me in my opinion, but that is an individual use case for me as a person. So
we've rambled enough, and you guys, if you're looking in the midsize, I don't think you're going to be disappointed, but you should go drive them all back to back and really figure out what fits what you want, your body type, the vision out the windshield, everything. Like, everybody has different requirements, so you got to go drive them. All right, man.
all right.
Thanks, Trevor.
Yep, of course. Thank you.